I'm okay. I'm okay. Uncle David, I'm fine. I'm just stepped out of work, but I'm fine.
Good.
It's 5 o'clock in Jersey.
Ah, wow.
Yeah.
No wonder you have more life than Mr. Biriku, but that's fine. So what does family life mean to you, Daisy? You as you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Uncle David, and thank you for the privilege to be on the panel today. As for me, I'm passionate. I love family life. And so me, I'll just start with the basics, the way we were taught, the basic unit of a family, mother, father, and their children. So of course, in that line, you would add, of course, the different families that we have these days. We have blended families. That's when different people come together and they've already had children elsewhere, then they join together and they are one. Then we have families that have one parent because of one reason or another. They might have only a dad, they might have only a mom for one reason or another. But that would what family life would mean to me when two people come together and then the life they create moving forward. Everything in between, that is family life. And when I say everything in between, I mean like their journey before they have children, after they have children, then they become empty nesters. I don't know if that's what they call them. Auntie Ruth will help me up to that whole life cycle, I guess. So that's what family life means to me.
Amen. Great. Thank you so much, Daisy. Ellie, are you there? You're on the spot now, Ellie.
Yes,
what does family life mean to you?
Okay, thank you, David, and thank you, online participants, for giving us this opportunity to speak to you. I will pick from the knowledge of the First Lady. She has brought the issue of living together, of bringing together of two persons, and also children come in. But I wanted to bring it from a biblical perspective. You recall very well that Genesis chapter 2, verse 18 talked basically about creation of man. And what I want to pick from 18 is where God said, I will make a suitable companion. That is what it describes family life, especially for the man and the woman, it's companionship. But now when children come in, they become part of the family, and it's part of the family life created by procreation and so on. Now, in what happens in that relationship is what defines family life. Peaceful coexistence, companionship, perfect unity, and of course, caring for the children and the rest. That defines family life and making them comfortable and living peacefully as God specified for us in the beginning. That for me will be the family life. Thank you. David, it seems you are muted. David, I'm not hearing you. It seems you are muted.
Oh, yes, you're right. Oh, sorry, apologies. I was talking to myself. Sorry about that. Yeah, thank you so much, Ellie. Yeah. Man and woman come together. A man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife, and the two become one. Of course, children happen and everything, a good relationship in there, caring for each other. That is your perception through the biblical angle. Barbara, are you on the call and in position to talk? Okay, we will get to Barbara at some point. She had earlier indicated that she was en route home, so she's having some challenges. Daisy, over to you again. It has been 2 years now since family life started. You were there from the beginning. It was the COVID days, you were there. And you have been part, especially of many parts of family life, just not only the children ministry, but also family life itself. What have you benefited? How have you benefited from family life, Daisy? Mrs. Rukeba.
Thank you, David. I would say the very, very first and the best, okay, not really the best, but the most important thing family life is fellowshipping with like-minded people. This is a fellowship, and the Bible tells us to not give up the habits of meeting together. And you know, when COVID came, we all had that worry and that fear of now I can't physically be with people. I cannot physically be there with them. And I'm so glad that this vision came to life. And you see, I'm miles away and I can still fellowship with you people. I still feel a part of you people. So I think fellowshipping with like-minded people, and I keep emphasizing like-minded people because in our world now, everyone is trying to create and they are bringing up these different ideas. So when you say something that actually comes from the Bible and you say, yes, in my opinion, I believe that a man and a woman should come together and get married. There is someone who is teaching that a man and a man should come together, that a woman and a woman should come together. So like-minded people, where you say something and people don't look at you ridiculously, they don't give you side eye. I don't know if people have been seeing those memes of bombastic side eye, like, what are you talking about? So like-minded people, which I think is very important. Through Family Life Hour, I've been able to be consistent. I think many of you hear me here squeaking. I'll call it squeaking because when Mr. Sibeke sings, it's the angels, and then Daisy sings, I'm joking. Anyway, so I've been leading praise and worship most of the times on Family Life Hour, and it gives me a sense of consistency in serving. Sometimes, especially where I am right now, the week can go by and you wonder, but what have I done? Or what am I doing? And like where I was, where it would be easy for me to slide into ministry easily. So it has given me a sense of purpose and serving. It has kept me consistently serving. And then finally, I'll give the other speakers a chance to speak the lessons that I've learned from here. So I'll only speak on one lesson that stood out for me. There are very many lessons, but for this particular question, I'll speak out on one lesson that I actually learned from a speaker that came here, and I practiced what they were teaching. I think it was Sarah Subuga who was talking about the reading culture when she was teaching us about reading and how to introduce reading to children and the different things that she kept talking about. And it is so funny that during that time she was talking about get into the culture of reading. She said something, monkey see, monkey do. And at that time, it is so funny. I have a daughter, Kaya, which is 7 years old. Kaya has grown up. So it is so funny that the day before, Kaya and I were actually fighting for the remote to watch something on TV. And when she said it, I said, oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed. Like, how was I with a 7-year-old? Like, we were seriously bargaining. And I was telling her, Kaya, just give me 20 minutes and then we can put your cartoons after that. And so she was talking about it, how she reads and her husband reads, and the children see them reading, and her dad read to her, and she passed on that culture. And I was like, Daisy, do you really want to pass on the culture of watching TV to your children? Is that what you want? Is that what you really want? And she was also talking about when you start reading, encourage the children to stand up and read to you. It builds their confidence. And so when I went back home that weekend, luckily for us, where I am right now, they encourage a lot of reading, so books are quite cheap. So I went out, I bought some books, and then I went back home with this vigor of, yes, we are going to read books today. We are all going to get into reading. So I gave everyone a book. Even their dad, I bought them a book. And I told them, so at 7 o'clock, gadgets off. We have 1 hour before bed. We sleep at 8. We are going to read. And you guys, yes, I'm not bringing bad news. It did not end in tears. We are actually reading. Kaya now reads about 2 books a week in addition to the 1 book she gets from school. I have also started getting interested in reading, which was not the thing before. So for me, that's a benefit. It is a benefit for me that someone came and spoke something, and I actually said, I need to change. Something has to be different. Something has to give. And I'm going to stop there for now. So for me, those are the benefits that I've had from attending this fellowship. So Family Life Hour and Jifirako, because I am learning. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow, that is powerful. I feared how that story was going to end, but I'm glad it ended with you reading. I thought I thought you were going to say the books are still there, continue to pray, but we thank God. That's a great testimony. And when you say that, it is an opportunity for like-minded people, and I think that is true, that we are all reading from the same script. We are saying, okay, the Bible says, this is what the Lord says. And whoever is saying, we can also cross-reference and check and challenge. And I think that's when you say like-minded people, I think for me, that is very powerful and very key. It gave you a sense of purpose. That is true. That is a very important thing when you feel that what you're doing is valued. Yes, some days you used to have network issues, but that's fine. It is, those are one-offs. But yes, you have a sense of purpose. And for me, that is key, that everyone who is able to participate gets to participate. Thank you so much, Daisy. Barbara, you let us know once you are on, just signal. We have been ready for you, so just let us know when you've settled in. Mr. Biriku, as I wait for a signal from Barbara, Mr. Biriku, Ellie, the question goes to you as well. For the past 2 years, how have you benefited from Family Life Hour since it started?
Yes, thank you, David. Family Life has impacted me so much in the last 2 years. First of all, we must accept that this was something that came timely in our lives, particularly when we needed a lot of information. We are at various stages in our lives, in our families, and we need different blend of information to manage our family success. And in this family hour, the kind of topics which have come up, members, you must believe with me that they are so very useful and enriching. From parenting, for those who are beginning parenting, and for those of us who are now at upper level of parenting, from experiences of those who have parented successfully, and they have seen all the children settle, and this kind of experience they share with us is very enriching, and it gives us confidence that we can too attain that if we listen to their advice. We have issues of financial topics related to financial discipline. We all know family, the goodness in the family also relates to the finances, management of finances within the family. We have had these topics. You needed to go into sit in a class to learn some of these things, but here are experts who give it freely to you. And if you pick it and learn from it, surely it will not leave you the same. We have issues related to health. I have had issues where they talk about mental health. There was one time we had this participant, this discussant who came and talked about mental health. And indeed, within that, you are able to know whether you are mentally sound or you have a mental health issue. So these are topics which somebody needs to sit in class to understand and probably be paid for to have it. But here we are, because of our fellowship on Family Life Hour, we get these things just with the button, and maybe the MBs will load on our phone. I really want to appreciate Family Life Hour, and this will continue to not be left like that. And on the other thing is the job. There was one time a human resource issue, somebody discussing those are topics which consultants are brought and paid for. to be able to discuss.
Ellie, just put your mic closer, just a little bit.
Okay, yes. Am I clearer there? Is
Again,
it
just kindly.
Just there. So I was saying, human resource issues of human resource, how we relate to jobs. That is also a powerful topic for those who are seeking employment and who need to be maintained within the employment field. So we are very grateful for all this support. And lastly, I would say through this, it has also encouraged us what to read and how to read the Bible. I thank you, Mr. David, for bringing these questions. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ellie. Barbara, Barbara, I think is on. Barbara, are you able to put on your video? We want to say hello to you.
Yes, thank you, David. I'm finally home, and I thank God that I've reached safely all the way from Fort Portal. God is faithful. I'm now home here in Kampala.
Amen.
Yes, I had you ask, but the waves couldn't allow me to say anything. And maybe to begin with, to talk about family life. What is family life to me? As a person, family life is the state of being of two or more people who are related either because of birth or because of marriage or because of adoption, and who share something common, either common goals or common economic conditions. So it is that kind of life that engages people who have some similarities, some relationship that stay together. Yeah.
Wow. And Barbara, while you were settling in, we did ask, what have you benefited? We've had other people tell us, you as Barbara, what have you benefited from family life?
Yeah, me as Barbara, as an individual, I've benefited quite a lot from family life. I have acquired holistic knowledge. I've acquired spiritual knowledge because we've had many speakers speak on many topics that do more of restoration of hope for better families. But also I have had a lot of wealth acquired through the different unique topics that have touched me as an individual. I remember the topic on essential skills. I remember the topic on making a will. These are things that we don't take for, we just think that those ones are not maybe for me or for me now. And I have had lots of other unique topics like a parent's role in the secondary school curriculum, the new curriculum. Those are unique topics that we wouldn't get anywhere in our spaces, not even at work, not even in church, but we have an opportunity through this online Family Life Hour, where we have a wealth of knowledge in all different aspects. The cognitive aspect, academically, we are helped to know how to support our children, their education, our role as parents, but also spiritual aspect, how do we move, how do we pray together as a family, how do we read the word of God together, how do we parent and nurture our children. For me, it has been a whole holistic knowledge acquisition that I must confess I have benefited as an individual. Thank you, David.
Amen. Interesting, Barbara, thank you. You've mentioned a number of topics that have benefited, but one of the things that you said that are key is that we have gained a wealth of knowledge from different experts, from different walks of life, and we get it all free here. But interesting comments coming in from the chat. Somebody says that for us as future parents, we're already learning about parenting. So they are preparing mentally to be good parents. And Professor adds a comment and says, yeah, by this time next year, we shall have more. We shall be prepared for the world of families. Yes, others, somebody made a comment, he said he's logged in for the very first time. You are welcome, Meshach from Bundibujo. You are very, very welcome. Yes. So to continue with the conversation, Barbara, Barbara, I think let me take you on this one before I go back to the rest. I know you have talked for quite a bit, but let me take you on this other one as well. I know you've mentioned a bit about you. From your observation,
Yes.
does family life benefit the people who listen in? You have benefited, you have testified, you got a wealth of knowledge, but is this beneficial to the people who listen and tune in?
Say that last word again, David. I didn't pick it.
Does family life benefit the audience? You as an individual, yes, you have just testified, but do you believe that the people who listen in benefit? Have you had rumors or testimonies of people who have benefited?
Thank you, David. I have indeed had many testimonies from many people, but also even through the regular chats that keep coming in as we hold our family life hour. That kind of response and feedback is enough for us to tell that family life hour is having impact and is of benefit to the listeners or to the audience. First of all, I have kept hearing people comment and appreciate the different topics and the different speakers that have come across. For example, those that concern the key family care practices on different issues have come out very loud and clear. People have benefited because there's a lot of challenges that we observe, that we see in families, that we as Family Life Hour have come out to address. Yeah, like parenting in this age and era, in the digital era, how do we do that? Many of us as parents, we have grown up in the other era, and so how do we do it now? But I've also received feedback from different people that have listened in, that have given feedback on things that have to do with the children and the youth, and you know, in a family we have children, in a family we have youth, in a family we have maybe children that are adopted, and then we have helpers in our homes, and all these topics have been addressed. So to me, I feel the audience, actually it has been a holistic package for the whole audience to benefit, because we are addressing children, we are addressing youth, we are addressing teenagers, we are addressing child survival issues, we are addressing parents, we are addressing even the singles, we are addressing, I mean, this is something that the audience, because as family life coordinators, we go all around the province. Those are kinds of same questions that we receive. And I keep encouraging, but there is Family Life Hour. Some of these topics are being addressed. So to me, I believe that our audience are actually benefiting, because we are touching the exact key challenges that affect every home and every family. So our audience, I believe, are benefiting out of this knowledge that perhaps it's not being given in any school, in a parenting school, but it is freely being given here by very resourceful people. Thank you, David.
Wow. And I liked what you said, that it's benefiting students, benefiting children, everybody who is able to tune in. And this from the charts, you see that Brothers Union and Sisters Union are some of the best and the biggest beneficiaries of family life. And it is not only the mindset of things, it's for husband and wife, but it's for every person who is a member of the family. That's why we have talks on mental health, we have talks on children in school, new curriculum. Anyone, as long as you're a member of the family, can benefit. Thank you so much, Barbara. Daisy, over to you, Daisy. Do you think and do you believe that family life has impacted the audience and the people who tune in?
Yes, David, I believe very much that family life has impacted the people who tune in. My answers are not very far from Barbara's. First of all, everyone loves a moving vehicle. No one likes a vehicle that is stunted. Even when you're at that stage and they are calling, kama ochabukoto ntinda, eyo nga tetambula, eyo nga tejjudde, you get? No one likes a stunted vehicle. And I think Family Life Hour has grown. Family Life Hour has grown, and people rarely come back to things that don't impact them, because we want to be in a place where we can grow spiritually. So I think, I know personally that Family Life Hour has impacted the audiences. There are certain things that people would like to tell other people, but they don't know how to. They would like to talk to their partners or to their children or to, there are ways you want to tell someone something, but you don't know how to tell it to them. So you say, let me send you a clip of this, and you listen. Or you tell this person. I have heard of people that will see a topic and invite someone specifically because of that thing. And they will insist, they will even ask, do you have data? Do you have data? If you don't have data, I'll buy for you data, and then come and listen, because there's something that you've been trying to pass on to this person. I remember the time Mommy came on and she was teaching gratitude, I'm sorry, Mrs. Wamburu. So used to calling her Mommy. Mrs. Wamburu, she was teaching about gratitude and contentment, I think, at that time. And believe it or not, during that time, that's one of the lessons I really, really wanted to teach my children, because of the place where we were at, where somehow children are so entitled. It's not really a rumor, by the way. Yes, children, these days are really entitled. And I wanted to teach them gratitude, and I didn't know how to do it, and I needed my partner to be on board. So I remember that time I actually told him, there is something they're going to talk about. Let's listen in. And the way she began her sermon, she even said, I called my children and I asked them this, and this. And I was like, wow, like, she was like, yes, us in our home, when we grew up, the best way we taught was to show them. And that was an answer and a breakthrough for me. The best and the easiest way to teach children is to show them. And I think that it's not just me, but even the other members, like someone will testify of, and then I had something, I picked up something, and then I passed it on to another person. Or I wasn't sure how to bring up this topic. I wasn't sure how to say it. My mom has been trying to convince my dad to make a will. I don't know for how many years now. And for him, he had this mentality that the minute you start talking about a will, he'll be like, Mwagala kunzita, you want to take my things? What's happening? And I remember when I actually saw that topic, I will not forget. It was actually talking about land ownership and the law in Uganda. And then there's another time that the same person, Council Isaac Obiro, David's Obi, came back to talk about making a will. And I remember I told my mom, I told her, Gula MDs, like Unkutereko, like just pick out the way you can, like, now you've been talking directly, just now pick out the way you can just easily wrap it up, like, like a pie, and then you would tell daddy about this will thing. My dad is an old man. He's like, what? He's like 65. And she's just like, what, these days you need to be prepared. You need to know these things are going to happen. So I think it has made a very huge impact. I'm so sorry, I'm seated by the roadside. So it has made a huge impact, even to the people that listen in, even to the people that come to watch. And then another thing I would say, Family Life Hour gives testimonies that these things we talk about work. When someone comes on Family Life Hour and they say, I have been married for 12 years, and me in my baby years, I usually say my baby years, I've been married for 5 minutes, my baby years, you're like, wow, someone can actually be married for 12 years. It is true that you can be married for 12 years. When Mrs. Senyonyi, Ruth Senyonyi, says that she did her PhD after the children had gone, when someone comes on and says, I'm a stay-home mother and it's fulfilling, it's not a rumor. Those things where people look at you like, but Dara, are you happy? But are you sure Chinechin to Chikola? And then these testimonies come on. I remember there's the time Grace spoke to us, and she said she has had her maid for 7 years. You people, there is a time I had, I think, 4 maids in 1 month. And I'm like, but is it possible for someone to have 1 maid and that maid becomes your family? You guys are lying, you're pretending. But no, these are people that come and give real life testimonies. They say, yes, we've been married 20 years. Yes, we did not have sex before we got married. Yes, we went abroad, raised our children, and this thing worked. Yes, I've had my maid for 7 years. I'm a real life example. Yes, I've been a stay-home mother, and there's a difference. It works. You guys have given testimonies to people that it actually works. someone might be there watching and they will never say anything, but they will know, you guys, the thing is there and the thing works, and it really works. So for me, I think that has been one of the things of, you're not only benefiting those of us whose faces are always there, all these people who are always talking, but even someone who is listening and they hear someone's testimony and they know, they're like, yes, it is. So yes, you are making an impact to your audience, to all the coordinators of Family Life Hour. They say like blow the fire a little more. Yes, the thing works, it is there, and yes, kudos. You deserve your flowers right now. So yes.
Thank you, Daisy. I think what I've picked out most is that it works. We get to see people's lives. People get to be vulnerable to tell us their lives, and we realize that what we are going through, somebody else has gone through it, and it is possible. Thank you so much, Daisy. But Daisy, I know you are running back to work, so I've been made aware of that. So I've blown your bubble. So tell us just one last thing. What do you think, as one of your last comments, as we begin a new season, because we celebrated 2 years on Tuesday, we have just begun a new season. As we begin a new season, and what impact would you like to see come out of Family Life? Which people do you want us to reach? Where would you want the Family Life to get to? What is in your mind? What are you praying for?
Thank you, David. First of all, happy 2 years. Congratulations on the 2 years. Happy 2 years, and then to the next 2, and then there will be 4, and to the next 4. So in the next years, I would like to see us tackle more. Recently, there's been so much happening with. I'm passionate about children. I'm really passionate about children and anything that concerns children, and so I would like us as Family Life Hour to know mostly the children. There's a question I've always had that are raised in these Christian families, when they go off to maybe secondary school or they go off somewhere else. There are some children that we lose along the way. There are some children that fall off, should I say slide off. I would like a child themselves, I think, should I say, a child themselves, a childminder, or someone who has dealt with teenage children or children who actually once believed, and or they have grown up in a family of believers and maybe fell off along the way and then came back. I would like to hear those testimonies. I would like to hear what exactly happens. I would like to know what we are doing wrong, or not necessarily wrong, but maybe where we are dropping the ball and all that. And then I would also really like Family Life Hour to handle a very, very controversial issue of separation. And usually what happens, I haven't had a testimony or anyone who has spoken about infidelity in a marriage, which usually happens with Christian couples. So I would like to know or hear a testimony. What happened? How did they handle it? And usually what happens after? How do you come back? How do you trust each other again? Those stories intrigue me mostly in the Christian setting, because I think there is still that whole shadow around. Christians don't struggle with such things, which I think is not true, which I think as Christians, people do struggle with such things. So besides that, you're doing a great job. You're doing really good. So keep doing what you're doing. The topics are amazing. We can't wait to see what you have in store for us in the coming years. And we are grateful for everything that you do. Sorry.
Wow. Daisy,
Yes.
Thank you so much. You have mentioned a number of things that are interesting, but I think from it, I pick out that children would like to hear feedback from the children directly. What are we doing wrong? It would be nice for a child to tell us who went off the path and what they did to recover, or even people who have been there. Topics on separation, I picked that. That is, controversial. We have never thought about that, but I guess you have given us food for thought. Infidelity, yes. As you were speaking, somebody made a comment that DNA testing and how to handle the results. That is one of by our very own professor proposing, and then the DNA range, how we should deal with it. That is interesting. Yes. So Daisy, thank you so much. I guess you can run back to work. We don't want you to get in trouble, but thank you so much for giving us your time. Mr. Biriku, keep your earphones on, Daisy, but we have released you. Yes, Mr.
So,
Biriku, over to
thank
you.
you.
Huh? Yes.
Where do I begin from? The
Uh,
the impact on the
yes,
other audience.
the impact
Okay,
on the other audience and what you'd want to see.
A number of things that Daisy has already said, but we have been increasing in number. Today, I realized we were like 49. There are times we are many more. That means we are impacting. There are people listening to this thing and they have benefit in it. Nobody will want to sit in a class where he has no benefit. So we are impacting the society amongst ourselves. Then the other thing is what you also mentioned. There are this group of people, there's a new terminology which came out of this family life. Sisters union and brothers union. These are powerful people. We are preparing people for a certain life. And I'm sure for them, the benefit is so much. They are learning from experience of people who have gone through this kind of life. Just like Daisy said it, there are a number of learning points for them. And hopefully when they come together, they will be able to make better marriages on informed side of life. So we also pray for them. We want to see success in their life. We don't want sisters union members and brothers union to go and fish in deep waters where they don't know any information, where they have no information. It's family life impacting them. So on the audience part, they are silent listeners. Sometimes they throw comments. Sometimes they throw the experiences they are addressed on immediate. That's part of the benefit. On the other side, we are also on the side of audience. Sometimes after this kind of discussions, others get their phones and call me personally. I don't know whether it happens to others, but they call thanking, meaning somebody has picked something out of what has been discussed. And usually I feel good about it that you have said something which has impacted somebody. So I think these are good learning points for us. You know, if somebody does not call you after a lesson or does not ask a question, you know, either he has not understood or has understood it all. So for me, those are the learning points. Now, into the next 5 years, into the next, after these 2 years, I would like to, my prayer is we want to see a growing community on online church. That is something we want to see. Just like in Europe and the rest, we are hearing of news of closing of churches. For us, I think this is the time we should impact on them. We should begin impacting on them, sending them the message through these channels which they like most. And remember, we have people in the diaspora. I always hear Bira talking of being in Saudi. I think, Edo, man, this is powerful. There are a number of people listening quietly, and they also share these channels. So for us to bring the word of God and also this kind of teaching to them, this is the only channel. And indeed, they take it serious. We need to grow into this, into the lives of these people in diaspora. This is the only way we can get them. Then the other one is into the near future. Maybe I was thinking of training. I don't know how it will be done, but training to sustain this work. You know, it is very involving and it needs more people to partake. They say the people outside there, the task is big, but the people to deliver it are still few. We need more of these people to go out there. The other last one is, I think, David, you have been seeing news currently. I wanted to comment on it a little, but it's the DNA thing. I wouldn't expect Christian community to begin taking children, their families out for DNA. That really, it may be scientifically right, but I think to begin doing that, we are throwing ourselves into waters. Somebody wrote on social media, say, you know, they have tried us on homosexuality. They now have come thrown this to make sure you divide our families, because somehow once you find a child who is not part of the DNA of the family, what happens? I don't know how you are going to answer that kind of question. And it's so members and seniors in this family, I think you will need to help us on this. Thank you. Over to you, David.
I will not comment on the DNA. That is your school of thought. It's interesting. We will pack it. We'll pack it for another day. But thank you. I liked what you said, that people call and thank you. I like what you say, that the numbers are growing. They could not be growing if there's no impact. So clearly there is an impact. So thank you. Thank you so much, Ellie. So Ellie, you didn't answer the last question of what would you want to see? What would you love to see family life in this coming year? What?
I think, David, most of the things have been said, but I think I mentioned one of them is to sustain the activities of family, sustainability of and training. Those two, training more people to handle the issue.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
There, yeah.
As you were speaking, it reminded me of something that I've already thought about, that I would like us to think about as members of Family Life. You see, Family Life has started. It is a church of its own. Ellie talked about communities and churches being closed in the West as ours are growing. But you see, Family Life is online church is a new concept for us. But one of the areas we are struggling with, that from my observation as me, is the area of giving. And it's not because we don't want to give. It is because it is a new culture and concept that we are used to giving physically. Thanksgiving, those with Thanksgiving, please come. And you want to hold it and put it in the basket. Now here comes a new avenue of ministering. And so when you say you've sent mobile money, you kind of don't get that touch from the Reverend to bless those who are giving. And so it is kind of limiting, but because it is a mindset, it will take some time, but it's a mindset shift. But I would like to win many other people in this school of thought, that I think we need to start thinking about this giving online as well to support the ministry, because all this training that Eddie is talking about, all these programs all need money. But unlike the physical church where you give it physically and the Reverend blesses you directly, it's different on online. So we need to just do a mindset shift so that we can be able to participate in that area and support the family life. Thank you so much. Barbara, last. Yes, there's just a comment before Barbara comes on from the church, says, yeah, we are still very much struggling in our giving for the ministry to grow. We need more resources. And that is true because of the mindset. Really, we normally believe you want to touch it in the pocket and put it there and you see it going in. Now it has to be online and you're not sure whether it even arrived. You're not even sure whether it, and when the Reverend is giving a blessing, you're not sure if that blessing will also, it is a mindset that we need to just wrap ourselves around. So Barbara, over to you. What would you love to see family life in this new year? Which areas do you want it to impact? Which areas do you want us to touch? Yes, Barbara.
Thank you, David. I really, I pray and desire to see the Family Life Hour impacting family prayers. That is the first thing that I see in my spiritual realm. If we can impact that aspect of family prayer. And that perhaps will bring every family together, and that will bring a bonding that is beyond the physical when we have that enhanced. But I also desire to see the Family Life Hour impacting marriages. We have done, and we have actually come up with topics that are meant to bring a man closer to his wife or a woman closer to her husband, but we still see lots of marriages challenged all over the country. I mention this because it is evident that when we talk of the devil affecting marriages, it does not affect or attack a particular section of marriages, but everyone is a candidate to this. So I desire to see Family Life Hour becoming a platform that will bring more marriages into stability and peaceful living. I desire to see, when it comes to the children, I desire to see more children happy and more children peaceful. Like in that order, from family prayer, then the marital intimacy issues, then into the children. I desire to see children happy and peaceful. We have across the country, when we go to the schools, I recently went into many schools in different regions of the country, and you do not want to hear the feedback from the students in secondary school and the responses and feedback from the school-going children in primary schools. Many of them seem to be going through lots of traumatic situations because of what they see back home. So they are in class, they are in school, but what is puffed up in their minds is what they see at home. So I desire to see more children and more youth happier and peaceful and well-mentored through this Family Life Hour. In other words, I desire to see a Family Life Hour impacting the children more, impacting the youth more, and impacting the adults, the men and the women, specifically those who are into marriage. But also I desire to see many single parents being supported through the Family Life Hour, because we have many single families. So that is what I desire to see. In short, I desire to see fulfilled Christian families. It may not be now, it may not be at the end of this year, but I desire to see that in every family. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you so much. Picked many thoughts. Barbara, one of the people from the chat room, said they desire to see Barbara joining a theological college. That is a desire in this coming year. Yes, we thank God for the masters. Barbara, we are praying for more now. Theological college. Other comments: no good marriage is sustained without prayers. Then there are other things that came through. You want family prayers to be impacted. Many things have really come through. Also, the disabled children. Some people are making those comments. We should focus on that topic. Yeah, many thoughts have come through the panelists, friends. There are others. We talked about more training this year. We've talked about today. They talked about some other topics that we've been tackling, especially hearing the side of the children and their real-time testimonies. Then talking about the singles, and then also most women
Have we lost David? Barbara, okay, David is there now. Grace, you can come in.
Friends, I think it was my network totally dropped off and has frozen. Yeah, but thanks our panelists. We thank you so much. You have been wonderful panelists to us today. We've picked out many issues from Daisy talking about children getting direct feedback from the children about their lives. It would be nice if we even had a child talk to us on family life. We've also got from Mr. Beriku, we need more trainings for us on Family Life Hour because this is a new platform. And how do we get better? How do we sit and become authorities in using Family Life Hour? In fact, Professor, I was just thinking wildly and crazily that one of these days we want to see Family Life Hour Holy Communion. And I don't know how that will play out, but you are the professor. Food for thought. Barbara talks about family prayers, impact, and then impact on marriages. Then we've also had a lot of comments around single parenting. How do they handle? Sometimes by whatever circumstance, we have single parents and many other things. Friends, we want to wrap it up right now. I don't know, there are no more questions. Barbara, you want to say the last word to us, and as we conclude, then we'll have Ellie, and then if Daisy is still on, you can also say parting shots, and then we can close and hand over to Professor. Barbara. Or Ellie, you could go, just any parting shots if I hand over to Professor.
Yes, thank you, David. Thank you for moderating. And I think this has been a good experience for us, trying to see the benefits and impacts of these programs on us. We now know it is very beneficial. I think we need to sustain the programs. May God help us as we move into the second lapse of the continuity of this program in the next 2 years. I thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Thank you. Barbara, are you there? Parting shots? Okay. Professor, we like your comment. We would organize and have a meal together at the same time across families as a farm, as a way of communion. Great idea. We have a virtual communion. That would be very nice. We could pull it off. We need to make family, this church, this online church, feel like the other church, but in a different way, so that we don't miss out on anything. Thank you so much, Prof. So Barbara is not on. I think she's dropped off. Daisy, I think, said her byes. I think it's at this point in time that I want to hand over to you, Prof.